All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. I found this on Yahoo News. It says, Duck rambles concerningly about destroying foreign countries. This is February 20th. Let's see. Let's see what he said today. President Donald Duck claimed Friday the Supreme Court had granted him the power to destroy other countries after the High Court took away his weapon of choice, sweeping reciprocal tariffs. Speaking about tariffs, I think he just said he wanted to impose a 10% tariff on a global 10% tariff. And you know these tariffs fall back on the people. So if he charges everybody a 10% tariff, that means everything you purchase is going to have a 10% tax, which goes into inflation, which goes into Revelation the 6th chapter. Okay, which is showing you that the Lord's like it says in Ezekiel the 5th chapter, that staff of bread, he gonna increase everything to the point there ain't gonna be anything to eat anyways. But this is the beginning of Jacob's trouble. Speaking to reporters, Duck rambled about how ridiculous it was for the Supreme Court to block the illegal tariffs he imposed under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Yeah, it's so ridiculous that you would block these illegal tariffs that I imposed, while also bragging that the court had only strengthened his grip on other strings he could pull. So that's not a well-ordered government. He working up against. He want to do shit illegally, and then when you work against him, he got another way to go about doing shit. The court has given me the unquestioned right to ban all sorts of things from coming into our country, to destroy foreign countries, Duck claimed. That seems like he just threw that in there. But a much more powerful right than many people thought we even had, but not the right to charge a fee. I can destroy the trade. This is what I want to hear. I can destroy the trade. I can destroy the country. I'm even allowed to impose a foreign country destroying embargo. I can do anything I want, but I can't charge $1 duck fume, because that's not what it says, and it's not the way it even reads. But yeah, he was saying, they made it seem like he was saying like, oh, I can just do whatever the hell I want now. But I'm glad I read what he said. I can destroy trade. I can destroy the country. I'm even allowed to impose a foreign country destroying embargo. I can do anything I want, but I can't charge $1. Duck fume. Yeah, and it's showing you that's hypocritical. This government is out of its damn mind. Duck imposes so-called reciprocal tariffs in April 2025 using the IEEPA, a rule that allows the president to regulate commerce in case of a national emergency, but doesn't actually include the word tariff. In the court's ruling Friday, Chief Justice John Roberts wrote that the actual language cannot bear the weight of Duck's tariffs. Still, Duck couldn't seem to wrap his head around it. I can do anything I want to do to them, but I can't charge any money. So I'm allowed to destroy the country, but I can't charge them a little fee. I can give them a little 2-cent fee, but I cannot charge under any circumstances. I cannot charge them anything, Duck rambled. Think of that. How ridiculous is that? I think all of it's ridiculous. All of it. Not just the stupid ass tariffs and just the whole thing. The whole Epstein file, the whole Lindsey Graham talking shit with that lady in his podcast today. Just your whole nation, man. Just pathetic. Okay, I'm allowed to embargo them. I'm allowed to tell them you can't do business in the United States anymore. We want you to out of here. But if I want to charge them $10, I can't do that. He continued, because he's all about money. And what does the scripture say about pretty much? I'm thinking of Deuteronomy 17, multiplying horses and things like that. That's not the type of person you want to rule according to the Bible. As a matter of fact, let's jump over there real quick after this. It says, despite the crushing embargo, so despite the crushing blow to his sweeping reciprocal tariffs that have caused mayhem abroad and at home, Duck insisted the ruling was somehow a good thing because it validated other statutes that were even stronger than the IEEPA tariffs, whatever that is. Probably those tariffs he sent before. But, so he basically can't charge people things, but he still got the power to do all these other things, is what he's saying, which doesn't make any sense. And I agree with him on that. But he got his border peace where they called him the, what did they call him? Donald Trump's border peace forever chairman role. Let's see what it comes up. As of February 2026, Donald Duck has established and officially ratified a new international organization known as the Border Peace, where he serves as the chairman, with reports suggesting he holds the position for life or indefinitely. So he got other things up his sleeve that I can get around doing all this other stuff. He's going to indefinitely be the chairman for life for the Border Peace. Duck even patted himself on the back for holding back with his initial tariffs. I didn't want to do anything that would affect the decision of the court because I understand the court. I understand how they're very easily swayed, Duck said. So he can't make any more money off these things. That's what I'm getting. Okay. Supreme Court to block the illegal tariffs he imposed under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. So he wasn't even supposed to do this, so that was illegal. While also bragging that the court had only strengthened his grip on other strings he could pull. So whatever that means, you ain't supposed to do that. Tabernacles of, I was going to say tabernacles of bribery. Let's go to, popped in my head, Deuteronomy 17. Deuteronomy 17 goes into administration of justice. Okay, so, if you a king, you're supposed to be reading this when you come into, you get into power. You want to rule a righteous society. You don't want to, so you look at the duck, that's not how you want to rule a nation. So he's a case study that the elect need to watch on everything he's doing wrong. So when the Lord puts us in power, we don't make these same mistakes, even though we're going to have the law, statutes, and commandments written in our inward parts. And it's really all this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is going to come from the Lord. But in order to study and be meditated in the law thereof, like the Lord wants us to do, you can use him as a practice to sharpen your sword. That's all it is, man. Deuteronomy 17. And let's see. All right, where does it say something about horses? Let's control F it. It might be Deuteronomy 18. No, it's right here. Why isn't it popping up? Horses. I'm literally looking at the word right now. Am I spelling it wrong? Horses. It's not picking it up. Deuteronomy 17 and 16. I'll start at 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. So first of all, you ain't supposed to be voting for some other nation to rule over you. Okay? That's against your laws. For you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're not supposed to vote for the heathen to be ruling over you. Because look at how they rule themselves. Okay, they commit all types of wicked acts. Wait until you finding out what they're doing to all you see a lot of white women, white girls, white kids missing and all this. They ain't showing you what they're doing to the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. They're doing you the worst. Okay, wait until that stuff starts to come out, and you hear about that, then you're gonna be looking at them like food, because that's actually what they look at you like you're food. These are people that eat you, you know. So they look at you like you're fucking nothing. So imagine when you finally find out everything about them, that they eat, and they just eating kids, and you people think, oh man, oh this is all good. No, that shit's something's gonna happen soon, that all everything's gonna be off the table, man. The Lord's gonna reveal all of this, and when it goes down, it's important that it's gonna come off guard to a lot of y'all. See, I know this nigga's wicked as hell, so I'm expecting anything I can imagine that's wicked. I know he's gonna surpass my thoughts of even how wicked it could be. His movies ain't even gonna depict what he's actually doing, but it's way worse. I just know. Just look at him. Deuteronomy 7:16. But he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt, to the end that he should multiply horses. For as much as the Lord hath said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more that way. Yeah, this is what I wanted. I don't know why this popped up in my head. An Israelite king must not accumulate many horses or make the people return to Egypt to acquire them, as God forbid in returning to that land. This restriction aims to prevent a reliance on military strength rather than God, and avoid reconnecting with Egypt's idolatry and power. So that's not what I'm really thinking about, but I guess a better precept would be Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6. Yeah, you don't want to multiply. I mean, this is good advice for an Israelite king. But he's not an Israelite, so he's not going to operate under the law, statutes, and commandments. So, I mean, it's a good precept, but it don't fit Duck. He's not an Israelite. He's an Edomite. He's supposed to do all this wicked shit. That's what he's supposed to do. So I'm not, surprised. He's mad about he can't be wicked. Anything what do you mean? That's your position is not here for you to make yourself rich, man. You're supposed to be serving the people, but he don't have he's a peasant. He's a servant. That's what the nation of Edom is. And then they don't even look good when they get the money. He's still come on, man. Look at Bill Gates. He got all that money. Look how he dressed. Look how he looks. It's disgusting. Because he's a peasant. Deep in his spirit, he's a low, morally low. He's just a heathen. Let me see. I wanted to go to Wisdom of Solomon. These damn heathen, man. This is why they gotta go. And I'm going to clap as they fall. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6:1. Hear therefore, O ye kings, and understand. Learn ye that be judges of the ends of the earth. So the judges also goes into your rulers. Give ear, you that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations. For power is given you of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest, who shall try your works and search out your counsels. And this is what we're starting to see. He's trying his works. Because being ministers of his kingdom, which he don't do, you have not judged the right. Of course he doesn't. He doesn't establish the law, statutes, and commandments, nor kept the law. Okay, yeah, thou shalt not covet. They practice all these other false gods. All right, change landmarks. They break every single law in the Bible. Nor walked after the counsel of God. And the Edomites, so-called white man, he never walked in the counsel of God. They're wicked. They do everything behind, wicked people and the righteous is a complete equal and opposite. They do shit behind your back, nobody's looking. That's how they operate. They when you ain't home, that's when they want to get into your shit. But the righteous, they're right in your face. They're right on the streets. They ain't hiding from anybody because they're bold as a lion. So there's an equal and opposite between the two. They do shit in the darkness. Everything that they do, then they come out and act like they're all righteous and shit. Now that's wicked. Horribly and speedily shall he come upon you, for a sharp judgment shall be to them that be in high places. So anyone that's in power, horribly and speedily shall he come upon you. Who? The Lord. Okay? For a sharp judgment shall be to them that be in high places. So those of you who are in power, you have the more influence over the people. For mercy will soon pardon the meanest. Mercy will pardon the meanest. The meanest is the difference between the lowest and it's the average. Okay, mercy will pardon the meanest, which is the average. But mighty men, those who are exalted, those who are in power, shall be mightily tormented. Why? Because they influence the people more so than the average person. For he which is Lord over all, which is Yahweh, and his son Yahweh shall fear no man's persons. So it means they're not respecting any man's persons. Okay, you got all these accolades, you got all these titles and all of that. That shit don't mean nothing to the Lord. All these worldly titles and things like that. He don't care about none of this shit, man. Neither shall he stand in awe of any man's greatness. Yeah, I got, I'm president of the world. No, that's not, the Lord's not standing in awe. Okay, sovereignty comes from the highest, like it tells you in Wisdom of Solomon 6:3. He's the one giving you the ability to be in that position. Now, he set Esau up in a snare because he created him to be a damn reprobate demon. So he'll never come to the knowledge to establish the law. But the good thing about, I can't say the good thing, but ain't nothing good about any Edomite. I guess the good thing that the Lord did is that he kept them cold. He don't got Esau, hot and cold. He's just a full-blown demon. He's not, he ain't even faking it. He ain't transgressing. He's actually a really good demon. He's doing exactly what the Lord wants him to do. And so in some form, the wicked ain't even like, they're doing exactly what they were created to do. You can't be mad at anything this nigga's doing. The Lord created him to be that way. So the only thing is, but he created us to be righteous, and we've been doing a horrible job. He's been doing a great job. He been doing such a good job, or I don't know how to, it's not really good to be wicked, but you know what I'm saying. He's been doing a very successful job at being wicked, as opposed to you Israelites being righteous. Him being wicked he's been wicked way better than you being righteous, is what I'm trying to say. For he have made the small and great and careth for all alike. So small and great, he careth for all alike. So you get judged according to the law, no matter what position you find yourself in. But a sore trial shall come upon the mighty, which is judgment. Unto you, therefore, O kings, do I speak, that ye may learn wisdom and not fall away. So he ain't gonna learn wisdom. Okay. For they that keep holiness holily shall be judged holy, and they that have learned such things shall find that to answer. Wherefore set your affection upon my words, desire them, and ye shall be instructed. And they don't desire the words of the Lord. All right. That's the last thing Esau's thinking about. But he's going to be judged according. What's this? This is from 7 Eyewitness News. House Speaker Mike Johnson denies request for Reverend Jesse Jackson to lie in honor in U.S. Capitol. This is bullshit. Let the man die, man. Chicago late Reverend Jesse Jackson will not lie in honor in the United States Capitol Rotunda after a request for the commemoration was denied by the House Speaker Mike Johnson's office due to past precedent. Who cares, man? I think his family's trying to get him to be commemorated somewhere, denied by the White House Speaker. Just like with the rest of the other presidents. And they're mad because they won't allow him to be in there, but they allow Charlie Kirk to get up in there. He ain't do nothing. Who the hell is Charlie Kirk? That's why they're in an uproar about it. But the reason why these things are happening is because the Lord is showing you that this ain't your rest. And that's why the Lord said, I was thinking of a couple precepts when this came up. Let the dead bury the dead. Matthew 8:22. Let me jump there real quick. Matthew 8, verse 22. Put the red letter on. Matthew 8, verse 18. Now then, Yahushua saw great multitudes about him. He gave commandment to depart unto the other side. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Yahushua saith unto him, the foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man have nowhere to lay his head. And another of his disciples said unto him, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. But Yahushua said unto him, Follow me, and let the dead bury their dead. The Lord is terrible, man. Imagine that. You suffer me to just let me go bury my father. And he said, follow me and let the dead bury the dead. In this context, the dead refers to those spiritually dead to God, while the call demands immediate, undivided commitment. That's right. You get into this word, and I get it. Reverend Jesse Jackson is in the presence of the Lord, and he's in his right mind. And you know what? He's probably thinking, Lord, how long are we going to let these devils rule? Now that he's in his right mind, he's saying the same thing. We need to get these damn devils up out of here. And he got a short time. He going to be ruling over you damn heathen. But this ain't his rest. He's still Israel. And when he was entered into a ship, his disciples followed him. That's pretty much it. The dead burying their dead, spiritually dead people burying their dead. That's what you're seeing here. They have no clue. Jesse Jackson, he from a different age, but, he still sold y'all out, and you don't get it. You don't have these people who have these arguments, are not aligned with the Lord. It says Johnson's office said it received a request from the family to have Jackson's remains lie in honor at the Capitol, but the request was denied because of the precedent that space is typically reserved for former presidents, the military, and select officials. So this is not your rest, man. You'll never come to the conclusion of that. You'll fight tooth and nail. Oh, they didn't honor me. This ain't your rest. Arise ye and depart, Micah 2:10, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction. So this is not your rest, man. You're nothing like our forefathers, man. Look at Joseph's bones. Let me see, what did he say? Let's go there real quick. When Joseph carried Jacob's bones, listen to this, man. Genesis 50. My forefathers weren't like these people, man. They hated Egypt. Death of Joseph. Genesis 50 and 22. And Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's house. And Joseph lived 110 years. And Joseph saw Ephraim's children of the third generation. The children also of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were brought up upon Joseph's knees. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I die, and God will surely visit you, and bring you out of this land unto the land which he sware to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. And what land is that? That's Israel. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones from hence. So Joseph died being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. But he was telling them, get my bones out of here. Bury it with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You trying to get your bones buried here. Okay? They didn't even want their bones to be. When I die, man, you think I really care about where my bones are, man? Joseph didn't even want his bones in Egypt. Okay? And he was the second ruler under Pharaoh, and he didn't want his bones there. Okay? As a matter of fact, let's see where Jacob's bones. Moses carried the bones of Joseph, not Jacob, out of Egypt during the Exodus. Okay. Where was Jacob's? Jacob was buried. That's what I'm trying to find out. Jacob's bones. The bones of Jacob. It's giving me Joshua 24. Let's go there. Just to go to show that this ain't our rest, man. They were in Egypt. Why didn't he say just let's bury them here? And this is showing you the difference between Israel today and Israel, back then. Joshua 24, verse 32. I started 29. Joshua's death and burial. Why am I reading Joshua's death and burial? Let's read it. And it came to pass after these things that Joshua the son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died, being 110 years old. Damn, that's just like Joseph. And they buried him in the border of the inheritance of Timnath-Shereth, which is in Mount Ephraim on the north side of the hill of Gaash. That's in Israel. Okay. Timnath-Haras or Timnath-Serah, portion of the sun or abundant portion, a city given to Joshua as an inheritance in the mountains of Ephraim on the north of the hill of Gaash, where he was buried. See, and they buried him in a different line. I was asking where Jacob's bones were buried. Keeps. Before leaving Egypt, Joseph commanded physicians to embalm his father. It's up more in Genesis, the 50th chapter. Joshua got buried in Israel. He wasn't in Egypt. They left Egypt by the time he came to this, so that's not getting to the point I'm trying to talk about. But he still got buried in Israel. But let's go back to Genesis 50. Yeah, the death of Israel. Genesis 50 and 1. And Joseph fell upon his father's face and wept upon him and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father, and the physicians embalmed Israel. And 40 days were fulfilled for him, for so are fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. As a matter of fact, 70 days. That's a long time. 70 is 60, that's 70 days, which is about a little over 2 months. To mourn somebody, that's a long time. What scripture says you should mourn for about a week? Sirach 22 and 12. Let's see what that says real quick. Sirach 22. Verse 12. 7 days do men mourn for him that is dead, but for a fool and an ungodly man, all the days of his life. Yeah, so 7 days, man. But Joseph was greatly beloved. And we still mourning Yahweh Shai, technically. So that's generations, since he's been gone. We still been mourning, so I think typically, 7 days would be considered the average or the normal time, but, it varies as you can see. Genesis 50 and 4, and when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spake unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, if now I have found grace in your eyes, speak, I pray you in the ears of Pharaoh, saying, my father made me swear, saying, lo, I die in my grave, which I have digged for me in the land of Canaan. There shalt thou bury me. Now therefore let me go up, I pray thee, and bury my father, and I will come again. So he didn't even have his father buried there. Okay? And Pharaoh said, go up and bury thy father according as he made thee swear. But y'all want bury your father over here because you're like a damn heathen, like a damn Egyptian. And that's why the Lord be saying, let the dead bury their dead, because they don't have no knowledge. The civil rights leader died this week at the age of 84. Yeah, you civil rights, man. You want to be equal with this damn devil, man. Fuck this nigga. The family and some House Democrats had filed a request for Jackson to be honored at the U.S. Capitol. They always make it a political situation. His daughter, Santita Jackson, was asked by ABC 7 Chicago about decision to not allow Reverend Jackson to lie in honor at the U.S. Capitol. There's no honor here. All right, ain't no honor here, man. All right, your honor's with the Lord. Other people had that idea, and the speaker has authority over at the branch of government and over the Capitol. Santita Jackson said, "I think that the speaker has his decision. He has rendered it. What we want is for the people to get a chance to be with him." Oh, man, yeah, but this is something about they don't say nothing about Kirk. I read Kirk was right here. Recent requests, just want to get to the point, had similar been made and denied to honor Charlie Kirk, the slain conservative activist and former Vice President Dick Cheney. There is no specific rule about who qualifies for the honor, a decision that is controlled by concurrence from both the House and the Senate. And it goes to show you, man, they don't care. So they didn't really do, they just made requests for Charlie Kirk, Vice President Dick Cheney. The Jackson family has announced scheduled dates for memorial services beginning next week that will honor the late Reverend life in Chicago, Washington, D.C., and South Carolina. Listen, man, he's probably like, what the hell was I doing down there, man? I'm telling the people of Israel that they're African-American and black, man. He's out of his damn mind. He had a huge platform all of his life, 84 years, and he ain't used it to wake up the children of Israel, man. So you lived a life full of vanity at the end of the day. We're not following these pastors who are not feeding us with and reverencing them when they're gone. Those days are over with. You want to reverence people like that, you're gonna pay the cost for that. Jeremiah 3 verse 15, and I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And he didn't do that. He told you descended from Scipio Africanus and Amargo Vespucci. That was his purpose down here on earth. That's what he's most notable for. But he did talk shit about the Amalek a little bit. What did Jesse Jackson say about Jews that got him, in trouble? During his 1984 presidential campaign, Reverend Jesse Jackson caused major controversy by referring to Jewish people as Haimis and New York City as Haimitown. This remarks made a private conversation with a reporter led to intense public backlash, accusations of anti-Semitism, and a formal apology by Jackson at a synagogue. So, what does this Haimis mean? Haimis Deli has homemade corned beef, pastrami, Reubens, and more. Okay, what's this at? Philly Deli? That's not what it means. Haimis, racial slur. It's a derogatory and offensive Jewish person. 1956, you were washed into Maryland with the Urban Dictionary. They can explain it. The R of being cheap, delusional, and thinking you are getting screwed over all at the same time. Jaime is derived from the stereotypical Jewish name Hyman. Okay, let's get some. Jaime is derived from the stereotypical Jewish name Hyman, originally Chaim, and the German name Hermann. Hyman is commonly shortened to Jaime. Jaime is not popular these days, but other racial slurs like kike, yid, sheeny, and mostly used today to disrespect. So I don't get it, Jaime, whatever. So he must have known something, but they made him reverse that real quick. So, hey, that just goes to show you, man, how powerful Amalek actually is. The tech billionaires aren't just grabbing trophy Florida mansions. They have competing $500 million mega yachts jostling for dock space. So the problem is a lot of these super elite, rich mother effers, they're leaving California and they're moving to places like Florida to escape those taxes. So what that means is you got people like Mamdani trying to tax the rich in New York. So this has already been going on in California. But so the rich in New York, they're not gonna pay taxes, man. They'll sell all their shit before they pay you any money, and then they'll go sit on their mega yacht on a dock, and their yacht is as big as a damn house. So they don't live like you peasants that are out there, where you can't move because you ain't got the funds to move into another shitty ass apartment. Okay, they'll get up and sell all their shit or donate it, and they'll be good. They'll sell their house for a painting, and that, it'll be an equal and opposite. That's how the rich work, man. You know, and they know how to get. The point I'm making is they'll get around the taxes. So all these different laws that he's implementing, it's gonna fall on the people who live in the land. If they don't live there anymore, how can they tax them? They're gonna get it out of you because you can't leave that place. You're stuck here. And Ma'am Donnie knows that because his alleged father probably told him about all this shit. So he about to put hell on you. And they're going to be living off grid, international waters where the laws are different. So they don't have to be affected like y'all. So he's smiling because he don't give a fuck. In early December, Miami's glittering skyline was disrupted by a gleaming 466-foot vessel pulling into its harbor. Sergey Brin, a Google co-founder, had decided to make a stop in style for the city's Art Basel Fair, arriving in a super yacht called Dragonfly. See? And you worried about taxing these people. You can't tax these people, man. All right? You don't know who Jeff Bezos is, man? You crazy? He'll shut off Amazon and you won't have any cloud space to tax him. Miami and its nearby coastal enclaves are fast becoming the staging ground for Silicon Valley's grandest displays of wealth, and the showmanship is extending from seaside mansions to hulking yacht berths. Over the past few years, billionaires like Brin and Amazon founder Jeff Bezos have shown off increasingly extravagant multi-deck mega yachts, some as big as small cruise ships. The Dragonfly, with its movie theater, beauty salon, and multiple helicopter pads, is rumored to be worth some $450 million. Bezos has a 417-foot skiff called Koru that reportedly costs more than $500 million, in the breakthrough, which one commentator referred to as a modern engineering marvel, was reportedly commissioned by Bill Snakes and up for sale last year for $645 million. So he's riding around in a boat worth $645 million. That's better than any house you can live on land. All right. So he don't need he can move. He can move to a whole nother country for a couple of years. He don't need to pay you damn devils a damn dollar. All right. So all these laws, who's gonna affect? It's gonna affect you poor. Okay. Because that's how the tariffs, all this shit. He don't need to do any of that shit. All right. It goes to show you, man, that they're not playing by the same rules as you peasants are. Isaiah 10:1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. And that's what it is. All right. The Lord is making this place hell. And there ain't going to be any relaxation. This is not your rest. You're not going to get buried and honored here. All right, get out of that weak-ass mindset. Baruch, the 3rd chapter, tells you, you are yet this day in yeah, I'm going to grab that. You are yet this day in your captivity. We all are. And you better get used to it. You got to love it. Love your captivity, because we going into everlasting. This is like a dream. And then people like him, they going into slavery. So let them have fun. That's what Edomites are supposed to be doing right now. They're supposed to be drinking, going to the bar, and having fun. Okay? We in the house of mourning because the Lord's going to give us beauty for ashes and oil for our joy. All of these things. Where that precept at? Edomites are supposed to be traveling the world and drinking it up. That's Esau. Let me finish this. Isaiah 10:2. To turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. And that's how they gonna rob your ass. Okay, the widows, the fatherless, the poor. Code words for the nation of Israel. Where did I want to go? Let me grab this in Baruch 3:8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God. So we're here in captivity, but him, these tariffs and all that shit don't work on him. This is the book of Psalm 73:5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. So they don't need to worry about these the situations that we find ourselves in, these different laws. But a lot of y'all are stupid anyways. These things need to come to pass so you can feel it. You can feel the Lord when he turns this place upside down. I forgot there was another precept I was thinking about. That's pretty much it. We know we're in slavery. Duck announces new 10% global tariff after raging over Supreme Court law. So let's read key points. President Donald Duck said he signed an executive order imposing a new 10% global tariff. Duck was defiant following a major Supreme Court defeat, saying he will find other ways to impose global tariffs that were struck down. He said, "I'll find other ways to impose it." He wants that money, man. Now he got, like I said, he got that border peace. He gonna get some money. Ducks remarks vacillated. I never heard of this word. Vacillated. Trust me, I gotta look at this word. This is new to me. Vacillated. Past tense of vacillate. Means to waver in mind, opinion, or action, or to be indecisive and change one's mind repeatedly. It describes switching back and forth between different choices, positions, or emotions. It can also refer to physical swaying or oscillating. Duck's remarks vacillated, I don't think I'm saying that right, between defiant and scathing. He even went after Justices Neil Gorsuch and Amy Coney Barrett, whom he nominated after they voted with the majority in the 6-3 tariff ruling. Oh, man. So he's heated about that, man. But this 10% global tariff is going to hurt who? First and foremost, it's going to hurt everybody, but it's going to hurt Jake the most. All right, this is Steven Spielberg. He's coming out with a movie after 8 years. Greatest sci-fi director of all time returns genre in 2026. Now, this is about aliens. Okay, and the movie's called Disclosure. I might have to go see the Disclosure Day. Now, there's been a lot of revealing of, you just had your former president, Barack Obama, talk about aliens are real. Then, I've noticed, they putting chariots in video games. There's more talk about aliens and, disclosing them. Duck said he's going to release all files that he has on it. So it's probably some bullshit, but I know it is and it isn't. Okay, because, the Lord is revealing all of these things, and however he does it is to get everyone ready for what's about to happen. Now, there might be some false flag events because Esau thinks aliens are like these green men, or I don't know what form he gonna try to spook you with them. But shit about to get real creepy out here, man. All right, and because you people are so far removed from the Lord, these things, these different demons that he gonna conjure up are going to be, they're gonna be used. But at the same time, The fact that they're talking about the chariots of the Lord is just the Lord. This is just another token. Okay? Disclosure Day. Anyways, I'm going to read it. It says, one of the most exciting movies of 2026 looks to be Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day. Like many of the director's films, Disclosure Day is shrouded in mystery, and I think he just left California too. The film's title wasn't revealed until December 2025, ahead of the first teaser trailer. I saw that trailer. They were saying, oh, the aliens all around us. And he's right. The aliens are, the so-called aliens, which are the angels of the Lord, are around about those who fear him. Okay? Some of them you can't see. Some of them are walking amongst us. I remember there was last angel brothers think they saw, from different camp videos. I watch a lot of Hebrew Israelite content. So, brothers are seeing all types of different things. Chariots, because they're round about the people who fear them. Okay? So, it's because the angels are protecting them. So, so brothers are seeing chariots. Brothers are having spiritual conversations with just random people. And it tells you in the book of Hebrews, I believe it's 13. And, Hebrews 13:2, be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware. So these angels are the so-called aliens he's talking about. But you people don't know that because you're stupid. Well, you're not dumb. The Lord ain't tell you don't know. Hebrews 13:2. It's just that, there's just so much information going out, but people use the internet for the wrong things. Folly is set in great dignity. So, people don't run across the information that's in the Bible. It ain't taught in your schools. It ain't something that people look for anymore. It's like the Lord is something that's like don't really matter or whatever. He's like on the back burner, but he's not. He just hasn't revealed himself to you. Hebrews 13:2 encourages believers to practice hospitality towards strangers, reminding them that through such kindness, some have unknowingly entertained angels. So, going back to Steven Spielberg in his Disclosure trailer, if you watched it, the lady says that they're all around us, and it's true. Somewhat, not to the extent that they probably making it seem like, because Esau, he'll show shape shifting beings with their noses in the air start moving and shit like that. So he gives it like this. He'll talk about these reptilian people. Esau is the damn snake, man. He's a serpent. Okay, it's just an Edomite. All right. They'll give you little snake eyes and different news clips and shit, man. That's all bullshit. Okay? He's just the devil. Okay? He's a sick, perverted demon. Satanic pedophile. Disclosure Day is shrouded in mystery. The film's title wasn't revealed until December 25. Ahead of the first teaser trailer. All that is known is that it is an original idea from Spielberg. And Spielberg probably like a lesser luminary, so he knows about the ins and outs of all this wickedness, man. He's probably participated in some ritual shits. He probably been privy to some information, being amongst some lower level luminaries, I guess you could say. So he's privy to. Esau's not gonna let just anybody just put out any movie. That's why they depict all the Lord's people, all so-called white people. They always want to control that narrative as much as possible. They definitely, it's in their best interest to tell all these damn lies because they're wicked. Okay. And they're going to be destroyed for all this blasphemy that they've been doing. All that is known is that it is an original idea from Spielberg, which a screenplay by longtime collaborator David Coeb, Jurassic Park and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, detailing humanity's discovery that we're not alone in the universe. That's right. Because why? You got Yahweh Boss, Jimmy Shai. Disclosure Day is Spielberg's return to sci-fi and aliens. So there's a big emphasis on aliens. I'm not going to read it all. I'm just skimming through it a little bit. Spielberg is on an incredible filmmaking run, an original summer blockbuster that's worth getting excited for. I don't know what this shit is on his foreheads, but it probably got a lot of details about, you know, it might say some shit about the MOTB and all of this stuff. Disclosure Day is a chance to see one of the greatest living filmmakers' new movie on the big screen. I'm not reading this whole thing, I'm just curious what the hell's on his forehead. What's that? 6/12. What's that? June 12th, 26. You know, it's funny that it's all on time, man. Who knows? In 4 months from now, what type of shit's gonna be going on? We already at the brink of war. It says Hawaii bills would allow government to quarantine people, enter property, seize firearms, and suspend laws. Okay, so Hawaii is part of the United States. If you didn't know that. Okay, the Hawaii legislature is advancing companion legislation that would formally codify sweeping emergency powers for the governor and county officials, including authority to quarantine individuals, enter private property without consent, suspend laws, and seize control of infrastructure under the jurisdiction of preparing for future disasters and disease outbreaks. And there's a disease right now kicking off in New Jersey. Where is that at? Nope. Where are you? Right here. This is more than 1,100 geese just turned up dead or sick in New Jersey. Here's the disturbing reason why. Let me read this. Images of dead geese floating lifeless in waters across New Jersey over the last week have sparked concern among residents, but wildlife and infectious disease experts say the risk to humans remains low. That's bullshit. That's bullshit, man. You start seeing animals die, your risk is high. You see animals alive, okay, you're good. You see animals dead, you're near something's wrong. More than 1,100 dead or sick wild birds were reported to the State Department of Environmental Protection between Saturday and Monday, according to a department spokeswoman. Geese don't really do anything, man. They eat some grass, they shit all over the place, they drink a little bit of water, they relax. They're not, they're not doing too much. They can't even do that. That's hell, man. A majority of the reports involve Canada geese with a few other species, including the smaller brant geese reported along the coast. Tests on the Canadian geese are still pending, but wildlife pathologist Patrick Connolly said there's a high suspicion those large-scale deaths are because of avian influenza, otherwise known as bird flu. So, there you go. Bird flu's no joke, man. This might be the real deal right here with migratory waterfowl coming into... Because when the vid was around, you didn't see a bunch of birds dead and shit like that. And this is happening right in New Jersey. So, something like this should be reported more. I heard this on Dabu. Dabu was talking about this, man. It's just... Because Dabu be watching. He's always looking for things like this. I mean, he's bugged out as hell, but he definitely be diligent when it comes to looking at plagues. He be looking for the same stuff, but he just can't really filter it through the scriptures like that. But that might not be his role, but I do think he could be Israel. He could be Israel, honestly. But I don't know. Not everyone It's Israel. With migratory waterfowl coming into the state this time of year in large congregation of flocks, we have many susceptible hosts in close quarters, and this disease can spread rapidly and kill these animals quickly, said Connolly, who works with the State Department of Environmental Protection. This year's lengthy cold snap has also caused widespread freezing across New Jersey, leaving birds with fewer open bodies of water, Connolly said. I do suspect that the recent weather has had an effect here, with the primary effect being that it is causing birds to congregate in limited open water sources, so we have large numbers of waterfowl in close contact, he said. Earlier this month, tests on brant geese came back negative for bird flu, which suggests their deaths might have been caused by freezing temperatures and starvation rather than infection. Man, they've been living in this place forever. Over the weekend, the State Department of Environmental Protection received reports of dead Canada geese in Holmdel, Manalapan, and Matawan in Monmouth County, Basking Ridge in Somerset County, all these places. While the scale and scope of the deaths may seem alarming, Connolly said it's not unusual among wild birds. Bird flu is also more common in the winter due to a combination of bird behavior and environmental factors. While bird flu is a year-round threat, the winter brings large flocks of migratory waterfowl together. Additionally, Connolly said the bird flu virus is more stable at cold temperatures, which increases the risk of transmission in cold weather. Did I read something wrong? It says the bird flu. Additionally, Connolly said the bird flu virus is more stable at cold temperatures, so which increases the risk of transmission. So stability gives it more, okay. Bird flu is a contagious viral disease of domestic and wild birds, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Since the beginning of the U.S. outbreak in 2022, bird flu has impacted wild and domestic birds in every state. While rare, mammals can also be infected when they eat infected animals or get exposed to environments contaminated with virus. The virus has been detected in more than 200 mammals, including foxes, bears, cats, dogs, and cows. As a matter of fact, I remember this lady, she had an indoor cat, and she was feeding it some type of food, and the cat got bird flu from the food it was eating. So that's, even if you're an indoor cat, you got the shit in your food, man. It says bears, cats, dogs, and cows, according to the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And you love eating cow. Bird flu can also infect humans. The CDC has reported 71 total human cases of bird flu and 2 deaths since February 2024. However, transmission to humans remains extremely rare, because he's probably still working on that shit. Probably trying to get some patents and all types of shit. I'll never trust this nigga. While the current public health risk is low, the CDC said it's watching the situation closely. The public is advised to keep children and pets away from wild birds and bird feces. Well, there's bird feces everywhere. So there's different plagues. Let's grab that as a matter of fact. Second address. 15. And second address 15 and 5. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. So there you go. Plagues are diseases and things like that. That's part of prophecy. The sword, famine, death, and destruction. Okay, these are all different types of spirits that are out here. All right, I'm done with that. Yep, disease outbreaks. So if these, going back to Hawaii, passing some bill where they can just run up in your crib and shit, that's also going into Jacob's trouble. And second address 16, there's multiple precepts, but I'm going to just grab it. Second address 16, verse 68. It says, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. And, as a matter of fact, it made me think about, is there any more on this? Governor, yeah, let me read a little bit more about this. It says legislative records show the bills are formally linked with each designated as same as similar to the other, confirming that Hawaii's full legislature, not just one chamber, is advancing the emergency powers framework. This legislation explicitly cites COVID-19 as justification for strengthening emergency authority, stating the vid pandemic highlights the importance of clear legal frameworks for state and country emergency management to ensure that the state and counties are ready for any type of emergency. So they gearing up for all this shit. Governor authorized to quarantine residents and enter private property without permission. So that's violations of rights. Governor can suspend laws, licensing requirements, and regulatory protections. So you ain't gonna have any rights. Government authorized to take control of private infrastructure and utilities, shut off utilities, control distribution of goods, regulate or prohibit commerce, impose rationing. There you go. Death, destruction, famine. Specifically, the governor may regulate or prohibit the storage, transportation, use, possession, maintenance, furnishing, sale, and distribution thereof in any business or any transaction related thereto. So that's a broad thing of utilities and private infrastructure. Some of y'all like storing shit in your bunkers, man. That might fall under that. Yes, it's in Hawaii, but it's in the States. Governor retains sole authority to declare emergencies. So the governor shall be the sole judge of the existence of the danger, threat, or circumstances giving rise to a declaration. Emergencies may be declared based on imminent danger or threat of an emergency or a disaster. And Esau got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. Legislature adds new definition of disaster, including disease outbreaks and bioterrorism. And we just found, some Chinese dude in Las Vegas, they being accused of a whole bunch of shit. Going next to reservoirs. Who knows? Legislature advances bills through both chambers. Legislature frames bills as clarification of emergency authority. I'm just reading through it. Bottom line, HB 2236 and SB 2151 would lock into permanent Hawaii law the authority to quarantine residents based on suspected exposure, enter private property without permission, suspend existing laws, sounds like martial law, prohibit firearm possession under emergency orders. Oh, now we got to take your guns away, and take control of private infrastructure and economic activity. Economic activity goes into your food and what you drink. That's the Lord breaking your staff of bread. And all under an emergency declaration. The governor has broad discretion to issue, including based on perceived threat. So they can do whatever the hell they want, it looks like. And it's starting in Hawaii, but this shit gonna spread to the whole U.S., especially if the shit's spreading everywhere. The legislation is advancing as the federal government pours billions into influenza pandemic programs, conducts gain of function. So that's why, you read about the geese in New Jersey. Oh, there's nothing to worry about. Then you read about some bill that's being passed in Hawaii, and you put two and two together. And that's the devil. That's the fucking devil, man. That's how he tells you, man. You gotta know what's going on in New Jersey. You gotta know what's going on in Hawaii. And he puts all the shit out there, but it's not like you can just watch. I'm just gonna watch the New York Post, and I'm gonna go over here, go to Google, and no, man. You either tapped in with the spirit, and the spirit's leading you to, some people's different channels, and then you just into a pool of everything that's going on. At the same time, it's sort of like kind of like an echo chamber. Dabu is one guy going to, but he goes into different plagues. He knows somewhat about the MOTB. So the Lord is revealing something to him. He ain't give him his name. He ain't give him, he still be talking about the book of Enoch and shit like that. But the Lord can clean you up real quick, man. Sometimes you just got to go. Some people need to see the power, man. They just need to see the power. It tells you in Psalms 110, that people shall be willing in the day of that power. If you see all this stuff, I mean, you see the prophecy, you see prophecy being fulfilled, but then you start seeing the power, man. That's when a lot of people are going to be changed. All right, he's revealing who the wicked is, but then you're going to know who is elect though when he reveals that to you. And that's what the world's really waiting for. Not who's on the Epstein's list. No one gives a fuck about Esau. Okay? Because every single Edomite's going into slavery. Those are the people outside the Epstein's list. All of y'all are Epsteinites. At the same time, Congress, the White House, the Department of Energy, FBI, CIA, and Germany's Federal Intelligence Service have confirmed that the COVID-19 pandemic was likely the result of lab-engineered pathogen manipulation. What? They just yo, that's crazy. I never seen it just written out straightforward like that. Zero Hedge. Who's this? By Tyler Durden. All right, Tyler. Okay. He's like, shit, if you read all the way to the bottom, he gave that overlap creates a profound conflict of interest question. The same government and scientific establishment involved in creating and manipulating pandemic-capable pathogens is also expanding the legal authority to impose quarantines, override constitutional protections, restrict property rights, and control economic life if one of those pathogens triggers the next declared emergency. You know what, Tyler? You all right with me, man. Look at this devil. Lindsey Graham says Gaza should be flattened like Berlin and Tokyo. See? That's Lindsey Graham on your left. Who's he right next to? He's right next to the duck. The duck ain't looking too good, man. Damn. Saw this turkey meat down here, and his eyes is, oh, man. Look like he ain't getting any sleep. I would hate to be around a bunch of devils all damn day, man. Ugh, I can't stand these damn devils, man. You gotta talk to them and shit, like, you gotta hear nothing but wicked shit all the damn day. Man, that takes a toll on you. You have to be a demon, man. You have to be. You know, imagine just hearing all the fucked up shit that's going on in the world constantly, and you're like, okay and shit, like, you know, you part of the reason why that shit be happening. Actually, I forgot to grab this precept. Jeremiah 50. You know, going into the Jeremiah 50 and like 22. A battle is in the land and of great destruction. How was the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How was Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Because Esau's the hammer of the whole earth. He's the one conquering shit, you know, fucking shit up, sending troops over here, you know, putting pressure on foreign governments. Everyone got to rouse up and defend themselves. But it said it's cut asunder and broken. He ain't got the military might that he used to have. He gonna fuck with those Iranians are gonna show him some shit, man. That's what or the Russians are doing naval drills in the Arabian Sea or in the Gulf of Hormuz with Iran, and we know the Russians have hypersonic capability. So, what's the Abraham gonna do against that? Lindsey Graham says Gaza should be flattened like Berlin and Tokyo. Gaza U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham defended Israel's ongoing genocide in Gaza and the killing of civilians, including children, mothers, and entire families, comparing U.S. actions and its allies during World War II and calling to just flatten Gaza. You just kill them all, man. And if you listen to what he was, out of his own words, he was saying that's how you got to deal with the threat. You got to just totally annihilate them. Just like, and he was comparing it to World War II. And he was saying they should do that. And then the crazy part is, to me, that he even brought up Tokyo. Okay? Which is, I think he's referring to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. How was Tokyo flattened? Lindsey Graham talking about Tokyo being flattened. Maybe, hey, I know something. U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham made comments comparing Israel's military actions in Gaza to the U.S. bombing of Tokyo and Berlin during World War II, stating that just flatten it. We flattened Berlin, we flattened Tokyo. Yeah, but I didn't know. I don't know about Tokyo being bombed. Was Tokyo bombed in World War II? Yes, Tokyo was heavily bombed by the United States during World War II, most notably in 1945. Operation Meeting House was the deadliest air raid of the war, killing over 100,000 civilians, destroying 16 square miles of the city, and leaving over 1 million homeless. Damn. This nigga caused great destruction, man. That's separate from Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So they were fucking those. See, I don't know. I gotta go back into that history, man. I might have to go back into that. Revelation 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and he causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, who deadly wound was healed. We're just talking about the Roman Empire. But the deadly wound being healed is Esau and his Renaissance, which is Rome 2.0. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And that's what he did in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay, and clearly in Tokyo too, he probably fucked some shit up in Cambodia and all. I mean, that's not thermonuclear destruction. He flattened it with some other shit. Okay, Operation Meeting House. The bombing of Tokyo. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. I never knew Tokyo got bombed too. This devil done did so much shit. And you wouldn't even, I would have never known unless this devil said this today. There's probably other Japanese people, they don't even know how evil these niggas are, man. I mean, those Japanese motherfuckers were evil too, so I can't, Yemen ain't no fucking difference. Them niggas were doing all types of wickedness too, especially back in the ancient times. So ain't nobody innocent, is what I'm trying to say. In an interview with Sky News Arabia on Thursday, journalist Hadley Gamble told him that what happened in Gaza, like killing children, mothers, and families who are not militants during the Israeli genocidal war, doesn't align with the Christian values, as many people in this part of the world see. He said, I don't buy that at all, because what did we do in World War II? Did we think for 1 minute about starving the Germans? ? Did we bomb every city into smithereens? So this is war. She asked if he was comparing World War II to October 7th. He said yes. When she mentioned that Israel had flattened Gaza, Graham responded, just flatten it. So he agrees. We flattened Berlin. We flattened Tokyo. Were we wrong to drop an atomic bomb to end the Japanese reign of terror, he said, adding that he would probably have done it the same way Israel did in Gaza. The senator said most Republicans think the way I do. Ooh, he even incorporated all you damn MAGA folks too. Hey, you know what? I ain't mad at him. At least he's being his true self. I'm for all of that. I'm for all of it. Graham is a staunch supporter of Israel. He has claimed that America's ally is fighting a religious war in Gaza and should raise the place to the ground. Ooh, this nigga said raise the place to the ground. Oh, you can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. He literally used the same. I gotta get it. Psalms 137:7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. That's Esau's been doing this shit for you. This is fucking Edomite, man. Nigga literally, No one says raise it to the ground, man. That's how you know these are spirits out here, man. You cannot make this shit up. You said that's what he mean by flatten it. That's what he did. That's what he was telling the Babylonians to do to us. This is what David's talking about. Raise it meaning to lay bare by emptying, make strip bare, to pour out, be exposed, make empty, discover, leave destitute. Okay. King David's saying, remember that. He's telling the Lord to remember that. You know what? We telling the Lord to destitute, make it naked, pour out, empty it, raise it, leave, spreading it, uncover it. Ultimately meaning to destroy it, to leave it destitute. He said, I agree with Israel. I would have done the same thing. Why? Because you're both Edomites. You're Edomites, man. Psalms 137:7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. And that's from King David. All right? He can't wait to dash your little ones against the stones. And it tells you in the book of Ecclesiasticus 25:7. We're going to rejoice destroying you. The wicked Edomites, man. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children. This is how you get joy over your children. And he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. So we don't have any joy of our children in this. But that's when you're happy. You ain't going to be happy when your little ones get dashed to pieces. And that's what happened to the nation of Israel. Through who? Esau, Edom. This was, you got to watch. This is a good flat in Gaza. Citing Hiroshima. Tokyo's different. I got a Operation Bombing of Tokyo. Operation Meeting House. I never heard of that. In February 2025, Graham called to wipe the Gaza Strip entirely, comparing Israel's assault to the U.S. campaigns against Germany and Japan. This nigga said, raise the place to the ground. You can't make this shit up. He looked like he looked like a damn devil. Israeli attacks kill at least 12 people, injure dozens across Lebanon. So Lebanon ain't got no smoke with Israel, but they bomb people in Lebanon. Israeli attacks have killed at least 12 people in eastern and southern Lebanon in the latest breach of a 2024 ceasefire deal with the armed group Hezbollah. Oh, I guess Hezbollah's over there, so I guess they count to get destroyed too. I thought they... I forgot about Hezbollah. You always hear about Hamas. You forget that there's other groups that he's after. Lebanon's official national news agency reported on Friday that airstrikes on Bekaa Valley in the east of the country killed at least 6 people and left more than 25 wounded who were distributed across the region's hospitals, according to the NNA. Yeah, but who did they get? Israel Army said it hit Hezbollah command centers in the Baalbek area of Bekaa, while a Hezbollah source told news agency AFP that a military leader from the armed group was among the dead. So they striking targets of Hezbollah leaders and put them. That was today, putting them to death 2 hours ago in Lebanon. They were doing bombing campaigns in Syria too. I'm done with these geese. Meta patented AI that takes over your account when you die, keeps posting forever. So when you die, Meta will tap into your Facebook account and be posting like you're still alive. What happens to social media accounts belonging to those who shuffle off this mortal coil has been a subject of debate ever since the tech went mainstream. Should dormant accounts be left alone, or should their surviving loved ones be given backdoor access to maintain them as digital memorials? This nigga's the devil, man. To Meta, there could be a morbid alternative. Training an AI model on a deceased user's post, keeping post-mortem accounts active by uploading new content in their voice long after they pass away. Fucking demons, man. Demons, man. This is demonic. As Business Insider reports, Meta was granted a patent in 2023 for the idea outlining how a large language model, LLM, can simulate a user's social media activity. The language model may be used for simulating the user when their user is absent from the social networking system. For example, when the user takes a long break, or if the user is deceased, reads the Goosebump Raising patent, which lists the company's CTO, Andrew Bosworth, as the primary author. So, long story short, this is the mindset of the so-called white man. You're dead and he's posting on your behalf, probably Israeli propaganda. Oh, I agree with everything that they do. Even though you might have been 100% opposed to it. It's just evil, man. We have no plans to move forward with this example, a spokesperson told BI. Okay. I'm not going to read it all, but that's just something I found. Minor struck by a car during student-led protests against ICE in Palm Beach County. Yo, they radicalizing people's kids, man. They over here protesting with ICE and all that. It's just crazy, man. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna just skim through all of this. What's this? U.S. envoy Mike Huckabee says it would be fine if Israel took all Middle East land. There's another damn devil. Who is this? The U.S. ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, has contended to the podcaster Tucker Carlson that Israel has a biblical right to take over the entire Middle East, or at least the lion's share of it. So they're all in the same spirit. It's beautiful. Susan Rice predicts accountability agenda when Democrats are back in power. So, yeah, the accountability agenda is that all you damn MAGAs, they're gonna, all the laws you place to come up against Antifa and all of that, that shit gonna be used against you. So that also gets into Isaiah the 19th chapter. There's so much going on. I just want to get through it. Isaiah 19 and 4. No, verse 3. No, verse 2. Isaiah 19 and 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. So when these things start to come to pass, man, you're going to be fighting up against each other, which is also prophesied too. So when Democrats get in power, they're gonna afflict you. That's what Susan Rice is getting into. Accountability agenda. Massey, duck, UFO talk, ultimate weapon of mass distraction from Epstein files. They're trying to get you to distract from. That's what they think, but I don't. Everything's a mass distraction from what's really going on. That's why we gotta maintain being in the scriptures. What's this? Government plans to boost Canadian forces with foreign recruits. Yeah, this is what I want to read. So, government plans. So the Canada's thinking about getting immigrants to join their military. You know, so brothers do talk about. You know, I didn't get into Second Edges, the 16th chapter. I started at 68, but it talks about a great multitude. You know, these are gonna be foreign troops on your land, doing God knows what, man. If Canada's doing it, America's gonna do it too. Even some of these ICE agents been called. This one chick was in a hotel or something, and she was talking to an ICE agent, and he barely could speak proper English. she was having trouble. She said there was a language barrier. So where the fuck he come from? Second Ezra 16 and 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. So these different nations, they might even consider having like a global police force where they're going to have, just like the Duck was trying to take the U.S. National Guard from one state, like a red state, and put it in a blue state and have a blue state National Guard going to a red state. Now he at the Board of Peace, where it's trying to regulate as the UN. So he's sitting in a position where he's the chairman forever until he dies, where if they surpass the UN or because that's kind of what the Board of Peace is, it's like an alternative to the UN. Okay, so if these different nations decide to go with this Board of Peace bullshit that's going on, then that makes it more acceptable for him to do what he did at a national level on a whole international level. Okay, let me get people from this country over here and make them be police officers and part of the global police or in the military in this part of the country over here, because of all these different things that are going on. This is just hell, man. That's Jacob's trouble. That's what it sounds like. And they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. And that's talking about locking you up. Martial law. Feed you with things being idle, meaning you ain't gonna be working. You look at this word idle. You ain't gonna be working. As a matter of fact, let's go into that in the Greek. I think in Matthew 12 it pops up. Matthew 12 and 36. Look at this word idle. Argos. Free from labor at leisure. Lazy, shunning labor which one ought to perform. So ain't gonna be any work, so they're gonna be giving, this is when they gonna be hitting you with the chip. Ultimately that's what it's about. In order for you to participate in society, you gotta have this chip. It says unemployed. Okay, useless, lazy, barren, idle, slow, and inactive. But the key point here is unemployed. And you see a big push for automation and things like that. And that's when they're gonna, these are signs that's what's leading to that chip. Feed you being idle with things offered on the idol. So giving you the MOTB, that's gonna be implemented on and then that's when things are gonna really kick off. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and reproach and trodden underfoot, going into you taking it and you're pretty much gonna be destroyed after that. Or if they make you take it against your will, you're still gonna die. Either way, however you look at it. If the Lord ain't protect you from getting the chip, then you ain't part of that number. You didn't get the victory. That's the whole point. So if you get the chip for what, even if they tie you down, it's not your fault. You fought to the end. You said kill me and all of that. The Lord ain't defend you, because the Lord told you that nobody should be able to pluck you out of his hand. All right, which means you ain't gonna be taking the chip, because he's gonna be defending his elect. He even said in Numbers, Revelation 20, that some were beheaded, but they didn't take the chip. So even in that case, they died without taking the chip. You're going to die with the chip in you, so you ain't part of that number. For there shall be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Okay, they're going to be coming after the men of the Lord, man. The Insurrection Act authorized the U.S. President to deploy military forces, including the National Guard, domestically to suppress civil disorder, insurrection, or rebellion against federal or state authority. It acts as a primary exception to the Posse Comitatus Act, enabling federal troops to act as a domestic police force when local authorities are overwhelmed or unwilling to enforce the law. So they might be willing to enforce the law on those who fear the Lord. Okay? So that's talking about the men of the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So they're going to be trying to kill us. Okay? Some of us are going to be martyrs. Some of us are going to be, the Lord going to lift up a standard. Even if you die, you still going to get lifted up a standard anyways. You know, because the Lord ain't going to have you take that chip. He's going to give you the victory. And at that point, your faith should be on point. Your faith should be very high if you're watching, because everything the Lord said is true. And he's been showing it consistently every day since I've been in the truth. I've been seeing he's just been consistent. And he's always showing every single day he's giving more. Look, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. I got this, I'm signing this over here in Hawaii. I'm going over here. I've got birds dying over here in New Jersey. I got polluting the water over here in Maryland. I got this devil talking shit on the damn plane over here. You didn't even know about what he did. I'm exposing him over there. He's just, the Lord's just constantly just doing it all, man, on all levels. You can go into the, look what he's doing with Meta. Yeah, when you die, I'm gonna use your post, and just like, what? The devil's doing it, so he's being exposed. He's doing a lot, and there's so much information that's going around that it's hard to kind of keep up with everything. But the Lord will guide you to it, But it's not to scare anyone, Some people get information. They go build bunkers. They go buy bullets and guns, and that's not what these videos are for. The video's supposed to, for you to get more. You should be more comfortable in the Lord. The fear of the Lord should be more on you. But if you think, I need to get more guns, let me go. Nah, you ain't in the right spirit. And plus, you don't need to do all that. If the Lord wants you to get a sword is going to be easy to find a sword in these last days. People are going to put to death left and right. You might just come up on something, just walking around. You might pick something up off a different gun battle and just keep moving. People might just hand you a sword at that point. They're giving immigrants guns. Join my military in Canada. It's just fucking crazy, man. But immigrant police officers, them niggas are dumb, man. These people they want bribes. They grape, they don't, and Esau does it too. So you need the Lord in these last days. 2 Ezra 16, verse 71. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. So this is part of our faith, our trial of our faith. Then shall it be known who are my chosen. And get and there's a lot of us. Yes, there's going to be martyrs, but there's going to be way more people that are going to be saved. Okay, some of us and if you are a martyr, the Lord ain't just going to do it to you without giving you the Spirit. You're gonna have the Spirit on you to complete the mission. If you part of that number, no matter what this nigga Esau does, he's through. And then you get the victory, and then after that, it's down the hill from there. The MOTB gets implemented, it's all downhill from there. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for God is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord God. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. Because your sins will tell you that, you ain't worthy of the Lord. You're going to be condemned in your spirit. But this is why you got to seek the Lord. You got to constantly, you got to have that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding be with you, so you don't so you don't fall into that mindset. Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins and covered with their iniquities, like as a field is covered over with bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through. It is left undressed and is cast into the fire to be consumed therewith. So your path isn't cleared, meaning you ain't walking in the law, statutes, and commandments. You pretty much that path that you're in is covered with bushes, and you going the wrong way. You can't see the path that the Lord wants you to walk. So you're gonna go astray and you're gonna be destroyed. Okay, the point of the matter is to follow the prophets so they're clearing the path for you. You know, they're showing you, okay, by this wisdom, okay, I know I ain't supposed to do this. I know I ain't supposed to do that. You know I got to trust in the Lord. And that's pretty much it. That's the Lord guiding you. It's really, really simple. You know, you just got to learn the word and just walk in the presence of the light thereof. Or you're going to be destroyed. And I'm ending here. Lord's will, this is edifying.